Welcome to the Accountability Trader. It's all about accountability, consistency, and growth. Let's have a look at the market. Good evening, traders. It is the Accountability Trader here. I know I've had a little bit of a hiatus. Went on holiday, came back, wanted to completely reset the mentality. Had quite a losing streak before going away. I wanted to come back nice and strong. Rethinking about my trading plan. I am very much considering dropping my reversal plan. I've realised I was going for too many trades. With it being a 1-to-1, it was very hard to keep consistency. And mentally, getting more losses than wins on a 1-to-1 obviously isn't good because I'm then down. Wanted to evaluate whether I could do my trading plan 2-to-1, and I couldn't. The 2-to-1 was just not in the realm of the frequency of trades I was trying to get. I was trying to catch every pullback, just not possible. So I've stepped away from that at the moment. I'm still looking at whether trend lines fit my sort of trading style. So I'm still keeping them on my charts as I go along. I am still looking at reversals, but I have changed my settings a bit. I've gone from what was a 5 length, I've now gone to 10. It's given me a lot less, as you can see, a lot less hits. This is something I'm considering playing with, but I've got a hit here. Could have played it way up, but at the moment I'm trying to just get good RSI levels, try and get good Fibonacci levels, play them out, see where it lies. I'm not in a position where I'm going to backtest it again, because I'm moving on to something else I'm very much interested in, that I'm trying to get a real deep dive into. That will come in the coming weeks when I start forward testing it. I've started back testing it, done my first pair, come out with, it's about a 50% win rate, but it's also, I only aim for a 2 times. There is room for chasing stops, which is something I'm going to look at when the back testing is done on my next 4 or 5 pairs, but that will come in the next couple of weeks. At the moment, I am looking purely at advanced patterns, I'm looking at structural trades, and I'm looking at possible reversals with the RSI, with the new levels. That being that, let's get into the Sunday analysis. See if we can see any upcoming trades, anything that we're interested in, any sort of support levels that we might be interested in, and just see where it all starts crossing over. I'm not necessarily taking active trades at the moment. I'm just trying to rebalance myself. I want to get into a really good position in the new year. My plan is January 1st, start my FTMO. So January 1st is my plan. I'm back on the grind full time. I really want to get to where I want to get to. So let's just see where it goes. Anyway, this is the pound against the dollar. There's no patterns playing out at the moment. It's a little bit away from any sort of structure. Let's go up to the 4 hour. Let's have a wee look. So we've definitely got a bearish bias at the moment. It's had quite a high pullback there, but we're still heading back down. We do have a little bit of news coming out tomorrow, durable goods. See how that plays out. We haven't hit any levels. This purple here is something I'd be considering, but at the moment we're in between there. We could come down to this sort of level. That's quite a interesting level where I've started that trend. If we could get a break of this, I would consider it coming down to here. But at the moment, I'm just going to completely let that play out. See where that comes tomorrow and onto our Tuesday session. But at the moment, there's nothing necessarily interesting for tomorrow. We'll just see how the news plays out. So we've got the euro dollar. Let's move this up to here. So we can, let's get rid of that. So we had quite a good pullback. Definitely a change in direction. We did have a level come down to this point here and it broke through. We are playing around this sort of structure at the moment. We've consolidated on this area. Be interesting to see whether it carries through to this sort of point and breaks up. That will be a very interesting level. At the moment, I've got no advanced patterns. I haven't got anything of interest here, really. On the 4 has, if the level was here, it has broken through. Not consistent enough though. It's putting in a bit of a flag pattern. Not consistent enough for me to think there's some momentum to really push it forward. At the moment, it's just consolidating. So again, we'll watch out for this pattern. Got a little bit of news on this again. Durable goods, IFO business climate. Nothing too serious. Nothing too much that I'd be worried about. But we'll see whether we carry on the trend. See whether anything happens around this. Got a touch here and a touch here. See whether it breaks through. Got a touch there. That's quite a good level. 1, 2, 3. But it's not amalgamating to anything. We've got nothing to really break through at the moment. We'll see where this one takes us. Right, let's go on to the dollar against the Canadian dollar. Let's sort out these trend lines. Again, we've just been consolidating. That's all we've really done on this pair. Looking for some consolidation patterns. For me, it's just messy. There's no clear X to A's, A's to B's. Super messy at the moment. I'd like to say there's maybe some structural levels, but again, it's just messing around. I'll keep an eye on it, but this isn't interesting me at all at the moment. Next pair is dollar against the Swiss. Sort out my trend lines. Again, it's gone a little bit sideways the end of the week. Looking for some patterns. Nothing's very clear for me personally. There's too many pullbacks there. Maybe on the 4 hour. Again, not really. So I didn't pay any attention to the charts last week, bar my back testing. So it's very interesting to see. We had a bit of a pull up on the Tuesday, but other than that, it's been very, very flat. Did get a reversal here, which is nice. Week before last, but again, that was just me trying to pull a little bit back from the absolute travesty we've had on this account. We was a good way up, maybe 6% if I remember rightly. Now we're down 8. Well, from the point we're down at 14%. But we move forward. When I've back tested this new strategy that I've got that I'm absolutely adore, I will then be forward testing and hopefully taking that forward to my FTMO, whilst also keeping on structural trading, because again, that is obviously a staple across any trading scheme. So let's go on to the Aussie dollar. At the moment, I'm looking at the Japanese pairs. This is just a mess at the moment. Just sideways, sideways, sideways. Obviously, chance of advanced patterns. It's just so messy at the moment. Draw this in, see if we can get any, just something going on. Nothing's clear. Like if that was clear up to there, down and up, that's probably what a Gartley. But it's just so messy. So indecisive last week. Let me just draw this last line in just to see whether it actually hit parameters. And it didn't, no, nowhere near. Just pure mess on this. I'm going to skip through the Japan pairs. I am looking into these a lot for my next strategy. However, at the moment, I am trying to avoid them. Very clean breakthrough, absolutely soared through, which is quite nice to see because that works insanely well for my next strategy. And the pair that I am back testing next is the pound against the yen. If I'm honest, this situation here, catching a breakthrough here all the way down, catching another breakthrough all the way up, is exactly what I'm looking for. The pound against the yen is a little choppier, I must say, but I'm back testing on this pair at the moment, see where it gets me. As of the last couple of weeks, this situation here is perfect. This situation here, a lot choppier, wouldn't work in my favour, but we'll see how they play out. See what happens, backtest it, get it ironed out. If I have to stick to a pair or two pairs and just master them, that's where I'm at the moment. I've got to knuckle down. I've got to simplify. I've got to aim for the 2-to-1s. I've got to be okay with less win rate, but higher profitability. I don't need to be right all the time. That's what I'm trying to learn. Easier said than done. Very much easier said than done. But when you've got a 2-to-1, you've got a rule where your 1-to-1, if it hits your 1-to-1, you move your stop loss to break even. If it hits your break even, you're even. That's not a loss. You're technically wrong because you haven't hit your 2-to-1, but you're no worse off than you was not putting the trade on. So mentally, it's a far better system, and that's what I've really realised the last month. I don't need a high win rate if my risk reward is putting me off in a better situation than it would be constantly getting wins. Yes, that's lovely. That's so good for the psyche, but it doesn't get you anywhere if you hit 5 wins in a row and then 5 losses in a row. Because that can happen so incredibly easily. So doing the 2-to-1 on the new strategy with the break-even clause, it gives room for error, but also room for the mental anguish that trading gives. Anyway, ignore that. Euro yen, nice big pump up again. Very much the same as the other two pairs. This one's a more consistent jagger down and up. The pound against the yen is bigger swings, and then US is a lot cleaner, a lot cleaner. This doesn't necessarily look bad either, if I'm honest. The Aussie against the yen. It's a lot smoother pair. A lot smoother. That's one that I might be back testing for my new strategy, but I don't think so. That will be one of my last pairs, if not one of the pairs that when I've got my working portfolio down, I will question it. But I don't think, from the research I've done, that it's necessarily going to work very consistent. Last pair, always looking at the gold. Last time I did a video, it was around this sort of point, I think. Yeah, it was around here. Again, it's just pumping. Taking a really big hit up here, which is very interesting. Putting a double top, really retraced down, which I never would have considered. I thought we would have come to this sort of level of support. We've broken back through, possibly putting in some sort of advanced pattern here, maybe again a Gartley, depending how much it has pulled back. Yeah, we've got a Gartley here. I haven't backtested any advanced patterns on gold. I haven't done anything on gold. I'm literally just watching it to see how it likes to play out. So I'll put that in there just so I can watch and learn, basically. Anyway, that's my 10 pairs. I will be back on Tuesday. I am considering whether I'm going to carry on with the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday videos. That seems to be a lot when I'm trying to concentrate on my back testing as much as I am, and I'm not necessarily forward testing. So I might do Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. I might break it up like that. I don't know yet. Anyway, first video back after the hiatus. Back testing like there's no tomorrow. Researching as much as I physically can. Not doing as much forward testing, but still keeping an eye on the charts, seeing if there's any opportunities of advanced patterns more so. Checking every hour. Turned my alarms off for my retracements because they were getting me into some issues. Just trying to relax. It's down to how I want to trade. It's down to my mentality. I've got nothing to prove. I'm just taking a step back. Anyway, thank you all so much for tuning back in. If anyone's got any tips or tricks of balancing the mental, please let me know. Drop me a comment. Yeah, let's see what the market does. A couple little setups we're looking at, and we'll go from there. That's it for today's analysis. I'm the Accountability Trader, and I'll see you soon.